Hello, this is our little tutorial on an assignment that we're going to have on Monday and Tuesday in class, in all my classes, not just Algebra 1, but also in Geometry and in Math Models. So I thought I would do a little homework help video on how to get started with it. It's going to be in Kami, so you're going to have to get to it through the Google Classroom. And it doesn't matter whether you're Algebra 1 or Math Models or Geometry and Algebraic Reasoning. All my Google Classrooms are set up the same way. So I'm just going to show you how to get to it using the Algebra 1 Google Classroom. All the assignments are in the classwork section. And the way that this is worked, we've got week 1, and this will start with week 2, and I've already got it loaded. You see I've got one for second period, which is going to be assigned on Monday the 24th, and one for seventh period, which is going to be assigned on Tuesday the 25th. And the geometry and the math models will work the same way. One will be assigned Monday and one will be assigned Tuesday, depending upon which period you're in, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth. I'm going to show this one like I'm a second period Algebra 1 student, so I'm going to open up the one that says 82420 second period assignment. And you have once you open it up, you can see that there's two documents there. The one that says Kami and Google Chrome, Google Classroom, excuse me, is the instructions for how to get the Kami app extension loaded onto your Google Chrome browser. And then the other one that says Kami Export is the one about comparing, that says comparing is the actual assignment. You can see there's some instructions above that for if you don't have Kami, the options for how you can get it turned into me. I'm not going to read that now because it's on the instructions. So I'm just going to open up the assignment. And there it is. Now you've got two options if you've got the Kami. You've got the Open with Kami, the blue rectangle, and where it says Open with, and then you can pick Annotate with Kami. Okay. It will load it, and you've got all the Kami tools on the left, and it says Model on the number line and compare, put in the correct symbol, the greater than or the less than. And if you're not sure which one's which, you should label them, which I'll go ahead and do. I'm just going to use, well, I'll label them on the top. This one is the less than, and the one on the right, that one's the greater than. Okay, so just sort of give you a little bit of help if you forget which one's which. Now I'm actually going to go down and look at number or letters problems C and D. Okay, now if I'm looking at problems C and D, I'm going to create a number line. Now you can do two number lines if you want. There's enough space to do two of them. I'm just going to do everything on one number line. And there's actually not enough room on this number line to get all the numbers in. You see I've got a negative 11 and all the way up to a positive 13. So I'm going to show you what to do if you want to do it all on one number line when there's actually not enough room for that. So I'm going to locate my 0 kind of in the middle or very close. And then I'm going to do my right hand side. Those are my positive numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you see I run out of room at 11. So one thing that you can do is I'm going to back it up a little bit. Is you can do what I call the dot dot dots. And the dot dot dots, I just backed up to 7, so I'm going to go like dot dot dot. And what that means is I'm going to be skipping numbers. Instead of putting an 8 underneath that dash, I am actually skipping numbers. And I need to get to a 13, so I'm going to put a 13 at the end and then just go backwards. So I've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the dots means I'm skipping over 8, 9, and 10, and then I've got 11, 12, and 13. And yes, it's nice if you can get all the numbers on there, but you can skip like this because you're showing that you understand how the number line and the order and the progression works, and that's okay. And some people, besides using the dot, 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 they use what's called this little squiggle that goes like this to show that they're skipping, but I actually prefer the dot, dot, dots because the squiggles get kind of weird. Okay, on the left-hand side, I'm going to start that with the negative. So -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. And you can see real fast, we're not going to have enough room for negative 11 if we just keep going. So I'm going to do the dot, dot, dots again instead of putting a negative 7 there. I'm going to make sure I'm going to go to the very end and put my negative 11 and then go backwards to the negative 10. So I've got negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6. I skipped over negative 7, negative 8, and negative 9. And I've got negative 10 and negative 11. So that's how you can fit it in all on one line, showing where you're skipping numbers. All right, now on this next part, after you get your number line set up, this is where you need to highlight your numbers. I'm going to use the box highlighter. There's actually two ways you can do this. You can do either the box highlighter or the shapes, but I like to do the highlighter. Now, when you highlight with the box highlighter, I'm going to draw it up high so you can sort of see it. You got to create a little box or a rectangle because that's how the box highlighter works. You can't just do the little circle thing like we did before. But I'm going to drag it over here and I'm going to do problem number C and I'm going to highlight the negative 11. Okay, then I'm going to do the same thing again. And I'm going to do another little box up high. I'm going to drag it over to where because that's a positive 3, to where the positive 3 is. Okay, and between those two, remember the farthest to the left you go, okay, is the smaller one. So I'm going to come back and highlight this, and I'm going to start highlighting it in the color, the same color as that I did the actual highlighting, and I'll show you why I'm going to do that in a minute. So this is the smaller one, the negative 11. The 3 is the larger one or the bigger one. You can either use a B or an L. And I'm going to go up to the problem, up to C, and I'm only going to label the first number that's in there. So the negative 11 is the smaller one. Since it's the smaller one, I'm going to use my less than symbol because that means that negative 11 is smaller than a positive 3 or negative 11 is less than a positive 3. Okay, if I'm going to do D, now I'm going to do D, but I'm going to use a different colored highlighter so that I can show the difference. So I'm going to pick the blue one. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make my little box. And then I'm going to use my arrow tool to move it. So I've got a negative 7, which would be after the negative 6. So it's over here in that skip spot, but that's okay. You're just showing where it would be located. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to highlight, use my box tool again, the positive 13. And yeah, I got a little extra box over here, but that's okay. I can take it off or you can leave it if you want. I'll go ahead and take it off. Okay, now I got to do which one is smaller and which one is bigger. So I'm going to change my color because I'm going to try to match. The negative 7 would be the smaller one. It was over there because the one on the left-hand side is the smaller one. The 13 is the bigger one. And if it bugs you that there's no number in there, remember you can always go back and you can label it if you want like that, just to show for this problem, that's what we're talking about, the negative 7. So when I come up here, I'm going to label just the first number. The negative 7 is the smaller one, so I'm going to use the less than symbol. Now realize if these problems had been reversed, if it had been like 13 with a negative 7, then I would have labeled the 13 as bigger and I would have used the greater than symbol. So that's just a little bit of homework help for this assignment on comparing integers.